Okay, hello to everyone. Thank you, Aman, for putting this together. Thank you for everybody that's coming, showing up. Um, this work is challenging, and so it takes a lot to do it. And I appreciate you and respect you for doing it and being willing to kind of take it in and let it happen for you. And so Aman asked me to do this. So I had a healing experience that I posted about. I put a video up in our group and on YouTube, and I've gotten a lot of feedback on it. And I've connected with people, and I've just been getting a lot of energy back and forth from it. And so I thought what I would do is just kind of talk about, how I came to the work and how I've gone about doing it, and then kind of get to the healing experience. But I think the key that I've found for me is just the work itself. So I commit to the work and I do the work, and then I kind of learn by doing it. So about a year and a half ago, close to a year and a half ago, I met someone that was uh, doing the Dr. Joe work, and friend of mine. I'm coming from LA, so a friend of mine here in LA introduced me to it, and I didn't know him that well. He was kind of a mentor of another good friend of mine, but it was something about the way he talked about the work. And he wasn't really that guy. He's a financial advisor and he's an ex-military guy, and he was just talking to me about the work and how important it had been to him. And I think he's been doing it since 2017. And he talked about these mystical experiences he's had, and all these different things with the Dr. Joe work, and he'd gone to the retreats, and I was just very intrigued by it. So it was interesting. He left the book Becoming Supernatural for me. He just brought it over to my house and left it for me, and I read some of it, and it was resonant for me, but I wasn't quite sure if I was ready for it, because I've done other spiritual work, and I became a Buddhist, and I worked with a spiritual healer, and I wasn't sure if I wanted to kind of integrate this stuff yet, because the spiritual work is very profound, very deep. And so if I'm going to commit to it, I want to commit to it. And so I read some of the book, but I didn't really start the meditations yet. And then I saw him again, and I told him kind of what I was struggling with. And he said, well, don't worry about the book right now. Just go on YouTube, watch some of the testimonials, and just kind of start from there. And so I did that. And then I read a little bit more of the book, Becoming Supernatural. And I finally I don't know how it is for other people, but for me, I just decided that after a couple months after learning about it, maybe 2.5 months, I just decided I'm just going to do this. I'm just going to commit to doing this. And I didn't commit to a particular length of time I was going to do the meditations every day, or I'm going to do it twice a day, or this meditation or that. I just said, I'm going to do this every day. And I started that almost basically a year ago, the end of May. And I just started, I didn't even get it. I got some of the stuff on YouTube, some of the Dr. Joe stuff, and I started with the shorter meditations. I didn't really do the longer ones initially, but I just was doing them. And I was committed to doing them every day. And so I was doing maybe 15, 20 minutes, 30 minutes. Sometimes I'd do twice a day. And I was seeing some shifts, but it wasn't, I didn't have any mystical experiences yet. But I was just doing it. And then I found out I had an opportunity to go to the retreat in Orlando in November. It was funny. My best friend got married in Key West on 11/11, November 11th. And then we flew out there, went to the wedding, and then my friend and his girlfriend and I drove from Key West to Orlando the next day for the retreat. And we showed up. I didn't know what to expect. So I have a physical condition. I have muscular dystrophy. And I had a back issue. I had a back fracture that I had been dealing with too. So I was in a chair and he's pushing me. And I was really nervous about it. And I didn't know. I just had a lot of fear around. And I almost didn't go because I thought, I don't know if I can do this. It's just a lot. But I've learned in my life that even though I'm feeling the fear, I have to do it anyway if I think it's going to elevate me. And so I just said, okay, I'm going to do this. And I went there and they were there to help me out. And it was just such a powerful experience to be in this room with 1,900 people, and some people were in chairs and some people, had all kinds of different things, but it was just this very strong frequency. And it was pretty immediate. I just thought, wow, this is an interesting energy. This is something that I'm really enjoying. And I saw Dr. Joe for the first time, and I really liked his energy, because he wasn't really talking about how he was going to fix it. It was really about, I'm going to open the door for you. And then if you do the work, things can happen, but you have to do the work and you have to let it happen. So he talked about the unknown, and I'd been listening to the meditations before the retreat. And so I think things had kind of been internalizing for me. And so I'm listening to it, and I was doing the meditations, and we're doing long meditations. One of them was 4 hours and 45 minutes. And it really kind of changed my perspective on what was possible with the work and with the meditations, and being around all the other people doing it. And I had my first mystical experience actually in Orlando. And that's where I met Amun too. And he shared with me the Marco Island group, but I only saw him for a few minutes. And then I connected to the group there, but I just kept doing the work there. And I had my first mystical experience, and it blew me away. But what was interesting is I had the experience, and I came back to the hotel room that night, and I thought, I'm good now. Like, I've healed myself. I had all this energy. I had all this frequency. I stayed up all night. I was just jacked up. And then the next morning I got up and I was doing the walking, and I still had the energy, but I was like, it didn't happen. Like, I felt good, but it hadn't happened for me. I hadn't fixed it. And so obviously I was pretty disappointed, and then I had a couple coherence healings, and I went into the mystical again, but I didn't heal. I felt good, I didn't heal. But my life had changed, right? And I thought, okay, well, wow, that was something. My my problem didn't get healed, but I thought, I'm going to stick with this. So it was disappointing, but it was also, I knew I just needed to keep doing. And so I came back from Orlando and I connected with the Marco Island group. And then, as I said, I live in LA, and then the San Diego event was coming up at the end of March. And so I knew I could drive there. And I thought, well, I need to go to that. That's right there. And so I needed help again, because my friends that I went to Orlando with couldn't go with me on this one. So connected with Mon, and he connected me with Shomik and Monica, and they helped me when I was there, and they were pushing me around and helping me with things. And I had, this was an advanced follow-up, so it was a little different energy. It was like people were it was a little bit stronger maybe. because people had experienced it before the retreat. And so it was amazing. And I had more mystical experiences, and I had more coherence healings, and, I had body shakes, and I felt strong and good. But I still hadn't healed. But the energy was so strong, and I connected with people, and I'm still connected with these people, and got this amazing community. And then I came back from San Diego, and I kept doing the work, and I was able to kind of have strong experiences, powerful, energetic experiences kind of consistently since I came back the last couple months. And then I had an experience where, so I told you I had the back fractured. So I fell at one point and I broke my back. I had a back fracture, my vertebrae, and it came out of alignment. And went to the doctor, and the doctor said, this isn't fixable. The only thing you can do is get surgery. So if the pain gets too intense, you will have to get surgery. But I didn't want to get surgery on my back, that can be kind of sketchy. And so I just kind of went, okay. And it was, I was stooped over, and I had the muscular dystrophy too, but the back fracture was like really, really tough in addition to that. And so my vertebrae was literally out of alignment, and it was painful. But so I kept doing the meditations, and what I realized is, before, when I was doing the meditations, I would do the meditations, and I would have these experiences, and then I would think, as soon as I would come out of it, I would think, are you better? Is everything good? How's your back feeling? How's this? How's that? And I kept doing that over and over again. And then I would come out of it, and my back would feel better, and then it would kind of go back. Ugh, it went back. It's not healed. And then I finally, after listening to these things over and over and over again, and hearing Dr. Joe's words, and letting go, going into the unknown, remember the feeling. And one of the things that the people that healed kept saying, I noticed on the stage at the retreats or on the testimonial videos, they would say, we didn't heal, we changed. And so I had a meditation, and this was probably a month ago or so, 6 weeks ago, something like that. And I had a good experience. I had a powerful frequency and an energetic experience. But this time, when I came out of it, I didn't come out of it and immediately go, okay, am I healed? How's my back? How's my muscular dystrophy? I just went, okay, that was a great experience, and I feel good, but I'm not going to think about healing. I'm just going to stay in the energy of change. Like, okay, you feel good. Don't worry about whatever your, issue is. And just stay in the frequency and think about change. Because I thought, okay, do I really want to heal, or do I want to change? And then I realized, no, actually, I want to feel the way I feel in the meditation. I want to come out of the meditation and feel that way about myself, about my life. And I don't want to be fixated on this challenge that I have, or challenges. And then I just went through the rest of my day, and I didn't think about it. And then the next day I woke up, and I felt good. The back felt good. And the next day the back felt good. And the next day the back felt good. And so probably a few days after, I just thought, oh, I've healed it. I've healed my back. And I literally kind of felt it, and it's aligned again. Like, the vertebrae. Before it was kind of jutting out, and now it's straight. And there's no more pain. And so I know it's fixed. And I just thought, wow, that's what I was missing. That's the part that I was missing in this whole thing. It's like I had mystical experiences and I had, these coherence healings and I had all these things, but I was separate from it. I was making it like, well, this is that and this is this. So the meditation, and then there's my life. But I didn't combine them and remember the feeling and let it happen the way it was going to happen. Go into the unknown, because I wanted it to happen the way I wanted it to happen. And so what's been fascinating about this is I healed the back, so I'm in the process of healing the MD, the muscular dystrophy, which is also supposedly incurable. But what I realized about it is I don't care anymore. I just want to feel this way. Like when I heal it, how I heal it, it doesn't matter to me anymore. I just want to feel good. I want to be happy and not think of myself as having a problem that has to be fixed. Because I realized I've been fixated on that for so long. Like I have this thing that I have to fix and I'm incomplete. And once I fix this thing, then I'm going to be good. But what I finally understood through doing the work and, like I said, the meditations every day for almost a year before I had the healing experience, hundreds of times, I finally internalized these lessons. Dr. Joe says these things over and over again, and listening to it and just internalizing it. And then talking to people, I put the video up and people reached out to me, and talking to people about it and kind of seeing the other side of it. Like people saying, okay, well, I'm doing it wrong, or, they want to know questions about specific meditations, how long I did it, what time of the day. Talked to a guy that has ALS, and he's wanting to fix this, but he's also talking about all these amazing experiences he's had by doing the work, but he hasn't fixed that. And it doesn't matter what it is. For him, it's ALS. For me, it's MD. For you, it's whatever. But it's not a problem. It's just your experience. And so, do you really want to fix the problem, or do you want to change? Because there's going to be something else after, right? So like I thought, okay, well, I'm healed now. Healed the back. Okay, great. Now I'm going to heal the MD. Okay, and that will happen at some point. But then, there's going to be something else, or something either for me or for people I care about. It doesn't end. And so what I came to understand is it's not about the thing, it's about the energy that I bring to it and how I feel about myself and my own experience. And Aman shared with me Anthony DeMello and the book on awareness. And that was another big level up for me. Because he talks about that. At the same time I was having the healing experience, I read this book, and he talks about we don't want the cure, we want relief. So what does he mean? Well, as I was, some of the things I've just been talking about, it's like we want to fix the problem but it's not a problem. It's just our perception of the problem. So someone just asked the question, the book is called Awareness. The book is Awareness by Anthony DeMello. The cure is we feel better. That's the cure. We change. That's the cure. The relief is we solve the issue. We solve the issue, the problem. But then there's another problem. And then there's another problem. And we think of it as something that has to be fixed. But if we just change how we feel about it and how we feel about ourselves, it doesn't need to be fixed anymore. It's just our experience. And then we can just do the work and feel good about ourselves. And that's the cure, the change that Dr. Joe talks about. We're not healing, we're changing. And so we can, now we're in this, on this frequency where we feel good. We don't need the painkiller, right? So another thing Anthony DeMello talked about is he said, the best that most of us ever hope for is temporary relief from pain. So what does that mean? Well, we have a problem, so we're in have not. This has to be fixed. So we're in have not, we're in lack. Then we fix it. Now we're in have. We fixed it. We've done it. But it's only temporary. And then it's gone. Then we have to go back to life. We're living life again. So I had my healing experience with my back. It's amazing. Feels great. But if I stop doing the work and I stop feeling good about myself, what have I done? The healing experience is one thing, but then it's how we feel about it on our day-to-day, how we feel about ourselves. Do we love ourselves? That was the big one for me, loving myself. And those were all these shifts that I had to make, and I was able to make them through the work. And that's what I would say to you is you can intellectualize it and you can talk about it and you can try to find shortcuts, but ultimately you do the work. And the work could be meditations, yoga nidra, somatic breath, whatever it is, somatic breath work, whatever it is for you. But if you stop, you forget. Because we have to remember what we've forgotten all the time. Because we're human. If we were that, we would just be an energetic frequency and we'd be that all the time, but we're human. So we do the work, in my opinion, to remind us to remember what we've forgotten. That we're whole as we are. And once we appreciate that and embrace that, things happen for us. But we don't know when or how. That's the unknown, because if we knew, it would have already happened. So it's okay to not know. In fact, it's better to not know. But the work shows us the way, because I had to put all of these different puzzle pieces together. And I did that through just the practice, just doing it. And then it was like a puzzle piece here and a puzzle piece there. And I talked to this person and I read this and I did this meditation. And then all of a sudden I was able to put the pieces together and it was a complete picture. But I couldn't fix it up here. I had to fix it in my heart, and I had to fix it through the work that I was doing and just committing to doing it. Like I said, I didn't for the first 6 months, I just did 20, 30 minutes a day. Now I'm doing longer periods, but it was just that commitment to doing it that allowed me to have this experience that I can share with you. And in my opinion, that's how it's going to happen for you. And so we connect as a group and we share with each other. And then we commit to our work. And then it happens for us, but we don't know exactly the details and we don't need to know. But if we just do it, things happen. And facing the fear and just doing it. That for me is what it was. It wasn't, because I had a conversation with somebody and they said they went to a retreat and they came back from the retreat and they said, well, I was riding a high and I felt like I knew it all. So I stopped doing the work. And I thought, well, I understand that, but then you forget because you're not doing it. And the work is the gift. That's what I realized through all of this is the meditations and the work and the community and the experience is the gift. My physical stuff was just getting me to do it. So whatever it is that moves you to do it, the gift is this. The community and the connections and the experiences and the overcoming and facing the pain. That's what I finally realized. Because I spent so much time fixating on my situation and healing that I wasn't getting that. That I did want to heal, but I really wanted to feel good. I wanted to change how I felt. I wanted to change my frequency. And so I kind of let it go. And I just said, I'm just going to commit to doing it. And I'm not going to worry about, I have an intention, but I'm not going to worry about how it happens or when it happens or telling other people about it. Because that was another thing that happened. I had my first mystical experience and then I shared with somebody. We had kind of a similar experience. We had a mystical experience and then we got into our ego about, well, look at me. I had a mystical experience. Look at, oh gosh, I'm so special. Isn't this amazing? That happened. But then I'm separate from it because I'm not in it. I'm not connected to it. I'm separate from it. I'm thinking, oh, yeah, I'm going to stand on stage at a Dr. Joe event and tell everybody about it. It's like, that's not the point. The point is to do it and have it and share it. But it's not about, it's about me, but it's not about me. Right? It's my experience, and your experience is going to be your experience. And that's going to be valuable on its own. But I can't tell you how that's going to happen for you because it's going to be your experience. And I know that it can be done, but how you do it and when you do it and how it, how it happens for you is going to be your thing. And so, listening to me and listening to these other testimonials and well, that's great, but it's just one puzzle piece and then another puzzle piece. And ultimately you have to put everything together and make it your own. And that's the funniest thing about all this after all this work and these experiences and the meditation and finally the realization of like, oh yeah, I just want to feel better. I want to be on a high level frequency and I want to feel good about myself and love myself and not think that I have these problems that have to be solved. That I'm good as I am. I'm whole. It's just my experience. So that's what happened for me. And so I think what I'd like to do now is maybe open it up for some questions and kind of hear from you. And let's try that.